you may have a brief introduction about yourself, about your work, about your organization, and then to start your presentation. Thank you, Mr. Se.
Yeah, thank you very much. I come from Regulatory Assistance Project, our international NGO working in electricity and clean energy. And I'm based in the China regional office in Beijing. My name is Pengfei. Next, I'm going to give you our brief and simple introduction of Nanogrid and its application in city and the country. So before I do that, I just want to thank the Green Council for inviting me to this seminar, and congratulations on the 20th anniversary of your organization. I'm very much humbled to be put as the first speaker, and it's also a pleasure to virtually meet new and old friends. Wish you and your family all the best in this challenging time. So yeah, this is my topic, Nanogrid and its application in city and the country. So please, next slide. Could you turn to the next slide? Okay, thank you. So first of all, a few words about my organization, REP. So REP is an independent, non-partisan, non-governmental organization dedicated to accelerating the transition to a clean, reliable, and efficient energy future. We work in the US, Europe, China, India, and many other places in the world. I'm based in Beijing. You can log on our website if you are interested. Next, please. So what is a nanogrid? There's no consensus on its definition yet, but I find this one useful. A nanogrid is a power distribution system for a single house or small building, consists of local power production, roads, a gateway, energy storage, and a controller. So you can see in the simple expression that it is a power distribution system. It serves for a single house or a small building. It produces and consumes power locally. Next, please. So this diagram shows the typical building blocks of a nanogrid. You will note here the nanogrid power can be generated both from renewable sources and non-renewable sources, with renewable sources usually dominating. Next, please. You may have heard about a microgrid. So actually, a nanogrid can be viewed as a small microgrid. This table shows the comparison between the two grids. They differ in size, application, and complexity. A typical nanogrid is below 5 kilowatts and is used in a single building for lighting, appliance, and emergency power. Technically, nanogrid is simpler to install and maintain than microgrid. While the size of typical microgrid usually ranges from 5 kilowatts to 100 kilowatts, it can be used in buildings and communities. Could be residential, commercial, or industrial. It is technically more complicated. Next, please. So this diagram shows the relationship between the two grids more intuitively. As you can see here, 4 nanogrids connect with each other and can form one microgrid. Next, please. So we already have the main power grid system in many parts of the world. Why still want a nanogrid? The reason is that apart from carbon emission reduction and environmental improvement effect, Nanogrid has important practical applications. First, it can be used in off-grid areas in island, mountain, peripheral, and tourist destinations. According to International Renewable Energy Agency, or ARENA, by 2050, an estimated 1.16 billion people currently live without access to electricity, and off-grid renewable energy systems like Nanogrid are in many cases the most economic solutions for these population groups. Second, it plays an important role in natural and man-made disasters. Quite often, power outage occurs in disasters. This is a time for Nanogrid to show off. For example, in 2017, Nanogrid powered thousands of houses and key public facilities during the blackout of Hurricane Harvey in the US. Lastly, Nanogrid can function for special purposes, such as military base and hospital uses. Next, please. So let's take a closer look at Nanogrid's application in real life. The researchers from the UK have worked with local partners from Bangladesh and Kenya to explore whether solar nanogrids are a sustainable alternative for community energy access. It aims to investigate how viable the option of nanogrid systems are for small off-grid communities in the two countries. As you know, rural communities like these often rely on kerosene or diesel to generate power, which are potentially harmful to both personal health and the environment. By using Nanogrid, the local people can stimulate social and economic growth by powering appliances, as you can see here in the picture. So next, please. So these photos show the wildfire and the hurricane in the US and the snowstorm in China in recent years. One devastating damage of these disasters is power outage, which can cause huge social and economic losses. A mobile nanogrid like this is instrumental in bringing people's life back to normal by providing the life-saving energy. So this nanogrid system uses solar energy as its main source. There are other sources that can be integrated, such as wind and small-scale hydropower. And next, please. So the picture on the right side shows the PV container barracks, which is used in military base with extreme weather conditions. You can see that the inside of the barrack is warm and convenient for living. The photos on the left side shows a so-called green energy supply depot. It is a mobile nanogrid of a standard container size that uses solar panels. One special feature is that this nanogrid can produce energy as well as vegetables. If you look at the inside, soilless culture technology is adopted with intelligent control and a monitoring system. It produces 6 kilograms of vegetables every day. Next, please. Although Nanogrid brings many advantages, its large-scale global deployment is yet to come. Barriers hindering its promotion. First, lack of sustainable business model. How can the nanogrid attract investment from the market and yield a reasonable financial return? Secondly, technical issues such as instability of power output. Thirdly, institutional barriers like regulatory mechanism and the lack of norms and standard. Next, please. In conclusion, we think that nanogrids represents a development trend of future energy system, and it shows great prospects. We need to explore market-oriented business models such as the PPAs or PAYs, or rather property assessed clean energy. Two financing structures that take financial burden off homeowners so it becomes affordable to the general public. We recommend exploring multiple renewable sources and energy storage in the nanogrid so it becomes more stable and reliable. Finally, we'd like to see an effective regulatory mechanism in place so as to guide the healthy and orderly development of the nanogrid. So this brings to the end of my PPT slides. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Se Zhong. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you. In fact, for me, nanogrid concept is quite new to me. Yeah, because in Hong Kong, I believe it is a new concept and application in Hong Kong. How about you are in mainland China? How about the situation in mainland about the nanogrid?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, we see a lot of nanogrids. They are all in, most of them, I think, are all in the pilot or demonstration status, which is implemented mostly by the government or by the state-owned companies. So this also in line with what I have said just now. The barrier, one of the barrier is lack of the business model. Yeah, so we need to explore more on this.
Then what are the response of the government? Do they support nanogrid? Yeah, because it might have safety risks if there is no regulation to monitor the construction of such nanogrid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'd like to say that the government is in general positive and supportive about this developing this new phenomenon because this represents the development trend of the future energy system. And if you are to integrate more renewable energy, you have to use more renewable energy, especially distributed renewable energy. You have to think about, using microgrid or nanogrid to, integrate all these different technologies like battery storage and wind and solar powers. So I think in general, the government is well aware of the tendencies, global tendencies in this. So they are positive about that. But I don't think that they are willing to see that the government or state-owned company are the only drivers of this. So they on the one hand they are very supportive. On the other hand, they are kind of cautious about developing this because they don't want to. On the one hand, they don't want to always, invest by the government. On the other hand, that there are some regulatory issues that waiting to be developed. For example, land use, and for example, the pricing, how these renewables, if they are to integrate into the main grid, connect into the main grid, how can they deal with this? So there are a lot of works for the government to do. Yeah, but anyway, they are positive about this.
But how about those private power company? They work for their own business. That means if they allow or support, they allow this kind of nanogrid development, that means the nanogrid actually will take over their customer. The private company, they will support this development. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you are referring to the utilities, the grid, the main grid companies. Yes, yes. I think this is the concern. But anyway, they have a changing attitude towards this new phenomenon, and they become more and more acceptable to this microgrid or nanogrid technology, just like the fossil fuel industry. And there are a lot of big companies. They are going to use. They are going to develop the renewable technologies now. So what I see here in mainland China, that a lot of demonstration pilot in microgrid or nanogrid are implemented by or invested by those utility companies. So they are actually leading. They want to be leading this kind of tendency. Yeah, develop this kind of business rather than competing with their main business. Yeah.
Okay, I think at least it's very good. Yeah, because that means you don't need to connect it to the power network in case of any natural disaster. I mean, even though the power network is being disrupted during typhoon or cyclone, but anyway, I still have my network to power up my building. I believe with the climate change impact, maybe there's a market potential for this kind of building. Yeah, I totally agree with your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. If you have further interest, we can discuss offline. Thank you.
That's good. And I understand it is your new assignment. Before you join this company, in fact, you are working for many years in the C40 system.
Oh yes, this is my previous position, working in cities. Yes.
Then, based on your experience in the C40, what should be the most challenging issue in most of the city?
This is a huge question.
But based on your experience, because you have worked for C40 for many years.
Yeah.
Maybe this is out of your this presentation, huh?
Yeah. This, but and we're working in in mainland China, mainly working with our member cities from my previous working role. Well, I think one area is you have to, sometimes persuade the local policymakers on going sustainable, because they have their concerns of how they will develop their city. They have their image, they have the views, their own views, and we have ours as environmentalist or sustainable experts working in this area. So we need the communication sometimes with these policy makers to action in the city sometimes. So this actually take time. Yeah.